There's a dangerous narrative starting to gain steam in Philadelphia, one that suggests the Eagles are dealing with a quarterback controversy. And to be honest, it's baffling. Jalen Hurts, the same guy who led the Eagles to 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 seasons, the same guy who just won a Super Bowl MVP carving up an elite defense, is suddenly being questioned? For what? Not being perfect in the first 6 weeks of the season. Let's make one thing clear. Jalen Hurts isn't the problem. If anything, he's the one holding things together. People seem to forget just how difficult it is to even reach 1 Super Bowl, let alone 2 in 3 years. You don't luck into that. You don't stumble into being Super Bowl MVP unless you're the real deal. And that's exactly what Hurts is, a franchise quarterback who's proven he can deliver on the biggest stage. So when you hear someone suggest, what if we gave Tanner McKee a shot? It makes you wonder if we're all watching the same games. Because sure, McKee might be able to layer throws or throw with more anticipation, but there's a reason he's sitting on the bench. And no, it's not because the coaching staff is blind. It's because there's a massive difference between practice mechanics and leading a real NFL offense under pressure, especially one that's currently fighting through more issues than just quarterback play. Let's be real, Kevin Patullo's play calling hasn't exactly been doing Hurts any favors. The offensive scheme feels stale, predictable. There's no creativity, no deception. It's like everyone knows exactly what's coming before the snap, and that's a death sentence in today's NFL. You want to fix the offense? Start there, not at quarterback. And here's another thing nobody wants to say out loud. The real issue starts in the front office. This isn't just about coaching. This is about decisions made by Howie Roseman and ownership, moves that directly affect what Hurts is working with on the field. Let's go back for a second. After winning a Super Bowl, you would think the organization would be laser-focused on sustaining that success. Instead, they hand the offense to a play caller who's never actually called plays. What sense does that make? Kevin Patullo was the passing game coordinator, and the passing game was the weakest part of the offense last season. And somehow, that guy becomes the offensive coordinator over someone with actual experience? That's the kind of move that makes you shake your head. It gets worse. You let too many veterans walk. You create holes in key positions, especially in the secondary. C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Gone. And it shows. You replace him with a rookie and expect the same production. That's just wishful thinking. Then there's the corner situation. Letting go of guys like Isaiah Rodgers and trying to patch the holes with unproven talent like Khalil Ringo? That's not a winning formula. And now, you're stuck watching your defensive backs get torched while the offense is forced to play catch-up. And sure, the offensive line's been banged up. That's a factor. But you can't blame the line when the entire offensive identity feels like it's unraveling. The run game has lost its bite. The passing concepts feel stale. And worst of all, the energy just feels off. And when the vibes are off in a locker room, that doesn't fall on just one player. What's crazy is that people are putting all of this on Jalen Hurts. He misses 1 or 2 throws, and suddenly the whispers start. Maybe he's not the guy. Give me a break. Every quarterback in the league misses throws. Mahomes misses throws. Allen misses throws. The difference is, those offenses are built to give them more chances. With the Eagles, when Hurts misses, it feels catastrophic. Not because he's worse than other quarterbacks, but because this system doesn't give him a second chance. The margin for error is razor thin, and that's not on him. That's on the people who built this system. You want to talk about numbers? Hurts is still top 10 in passing touchdowns. He's thrown just 1 interception. His QBR might be middle of the pack, but context matters. He's not the one calling plays. He's not the one designing the route trees. And let's be honest, those routes aren't helping. They're predictable, stale, and too often leave receivers in positions where they can't make plays after the catch. The entire passing game looks like it's stuck in neutral. You know what happens when the route concepts are predictable? Defensive backs start jumping routes. Quarterbacks lose trust. Timing gets thrown off. And then you see mistakes, not because the quarterback can't play, but because the offense is handcuffing him. And in those situations, people start pointing fingers. Wide receivers blame the quarterback. The quarterback looks at the sideline wondering what the OC is thinking. And suddenly, what used to be a unified offense looks disconnected and frustrated. Now imagine throwing a rookie into that mess. You think Tanner McKee is going to come in and magically fix everything? Really? You're going to take a guy with 0 NFL starts, throw him into an offense that can't run the ball, can't protect the quarterback consistently, and has no rhythm, and expect him to succeed? That's not just unrealistic. That's reckless. Because not only are you setting him up to fail, you're destroying the confidence of your franchise quarterback in the process. You think Hurts won't feel some type of way if he gets benched after one rough stretch? You think that locker room won't start splintering? This isn't just about XS and OS. This is about leadership, about trust, about building something sustainable. You bench Hurts now, and you're sending a message that no matter what you've done, MVP, Super Bowl wins, leadership, none of it matters if you have a bad month. That's not how great organizations operate. And the worst part is, if McKee does get thrown in and struggles, which he will, now you've got two broken quarterbacks instead of one. Hurts feels betrayed. McKee loses confidence. And now you're back at square one. And then what? Draft another quarterback and start this whole cycle over again. That's not a solution. That's self-destruction. You don't throw away a quarterback who's proven he can lead you to the mountaintop just because the team hits a few bumps in the road. You fix the foundation. You evaluate the coaching. You question the scheme. You hold the front office accountable for poor roster management. But you don't scapegoat your quarterback, especially not this quarterback. Jalen Hurts isn't the problem. He's the one being asked to clean up everybody else's mess. And now that we've established how ridiculous it is to talk about benching Jalen Hurts, let's dig even deeper into the core problems holding this Eagles team back. Because it's not just the coaching, and it's not just the front office. It's the entire infrastructure around the quarterback that's failing. When you go back and look at the Super Bowl season, there was a rhythm, a flow, a sense of identity. You knew what the Eagles were trying to do offensively. You could feel the purpose in every drive. Right now, it feels like they're making it up as they go along. No consistency, no spark, no answers when things go wrong. Take the offensive coordinator situation again. Kevin Patullo has never been a play caller in the NFL before this. Never. And yet, somehow, he was promoted to the most critical role on the offensive staff. That's a huge gamble, especially when your team is built to win now. You're not developing a roster. You're not rebuilding. You're trying to maximize a championship window with a loaded roster and a quarterback in his prime. So what do? Hand the offense to someone who's learning on the job. And it's showing every single week. You can see it in the way the Eagles attack defenses or fail to. There's no sequencing, no adjustment. When teams stack the box or shut down the inside zone, what's the counter? Nothing. They keep banging their heads against the same wall expecting different results. It's predictable, and that predictability is killing them. Defenses aren't being forced to respect the run and the pass equally. There's no misdirection, no disguise. It's all vanilla. And when you're that predictable, the quarterback's job becomes 10 times harder, even if that quarterback is Jalen Hurts. And what about the run game? It's completely evaporated, not just because the schemes are bad, but because the blocking is falling apart. Injuries on the offensive line haven't helped. Cam Jurgens went into the season already banged up. Landon Dickerson has been hurt. Lane Johnson is always fighting something. But instead of adjusting the run concepts, they just try to plug in backup linemen and pretend like nothing changed. You can't run the same plays with a patchwork offensive line and expect elite results. That's coaching malpractice. And again, that's not on Hurts. Then there's the misuse of personnel. You have one of the most dynamic backs in the league in DeAndre Swift, and somehow you're not getting creative in how you use him? No design tosses. No stretch plays. No motion to create mismatches. You keep running straight into the teeth of defenses like they won't see it coming. And even worse, you let your most reliable blocking tight end go. In a system where blocking is critical, and trade for a wide receiver you're not even using. How does that make sense? Let's talk about the tight end room. Outside of Dallas Goedert, who's doing the heavy lifting in both the pass and run game, the rest of the group has fallen off. You had a chance to bring in someone like Harrison Bryant, one of the top 5 blocking tight ends in the league, and instead, you gamble on flashy upside with no immediate value. The result? The run game suffers. Pass protection suffers. And Hurts once again is left trying to make magic behind a compromised structure. Even when you look at how plays are being called, it's like they're stuck in a loop. Same formations, same motions, same route combinations. And when those don't work, the offense just stalls. There's no sense of tempo, no attempt to catch defenses off guard. When Hurts tries to go hurry up or up tempo, that's when the offense actually looks alive. That's when he thrives, when he's allowed to control the flow, read the defense in real time, and force them to react. But instead, the staff slows everything down. Play calls come in late. Adjustments don't happen, and drives fall apart before they even begin. And this lack of creativity, this lack of innovation, is starting to wear on everyone. You can see it in the body language of the players. The receivers aren't finishing routes with the same energy. The offensive line is slower off the ball. Hurts is constantly talking with the coaching staff, trying to figure out what they're trying to do. It's not just physical execution that's suffering, it's mental buy-in. That spark from last year, that juice, it's gone. And when you lose that edge, you become beatable. You become just another team. Let's not forget the defense either. You can't ignore how the front office decisions have affected the other side of the ball, and how that in turn affects Hurts and the offense. The secondary is in shambles. You let proven veterans walk and replace them with unproven talent. You banked on young players being ready to step into massive roles and got burned. You thought you could plug in rookies and get all-pro level production, and now your corners are getting exposed and your safeties can't cover anyone. Reed Blankenship was solid when paired with a legit veteran next to him, like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But now, he looks lost. And that's not even a knock on him. It's the reality of what happens when you strip away all the support and expect the same results. You lose those veterans, and suddenly the whole defense feels soft. You're giving up big plays. You're not forcing turnovers. And that's putting more and more pressure on the offense to be perfect. Hurts feels that. The whole offense feels that. And that's when things get tense. You start pressing. You try to force plays. And instead of operating freely and instinctively, you're second-guessing. That's how mistakes happen. So let's circle back to the idea of bringing in Tanner McKee. You really think he's going to step in and be the savior? You really think a rookie, who can't move like Hurts, who doesn't bring the same leadership, who's never seen a live NFL defense come at him with real speed, is going to fix all this? That's not just wishful thinking. That's dangerous. Because once you go down that road, there's no going back. If McKee fails, and he will, because this isn't a McKee problem, it's a systemic one, you've shattered the confidence of two quarterbacks. Now you've got locker room division. You've got veterans who don't know who's leading the team. And you've lost the one thing that made the Eagles special: belief. FlyEaglesFly News family, smash subscribe and hit like. Your support keeps the freshest Philadelphia Eagles updates flying in. Drop your take in the comments, and let's talk birds. In a stunning twist that has sent shockwaves through the football world, the NFL has officially admitted to a serious officiating error in last week's controversial game involving the Philadelphia Eagles. Sources close to the league confirmed late Friday that a critical call, which dramatically impacted the outcome of the matchup, was incorrectly made and directly disadvantaged the Eagles. While the NFL typically stands by its referees, insiders say this incident was too blatant to ignore, prompting an unprecedented intervention. The decision that followed has left fans and players alike stunned. The league has reportedly taken the extraordinary step of adjusting the official result of the game, a move virtually unheard of in NFL history. While the exact details remain closely guarded, insiders suggest that the Eagles may now be credited with the win, overturning what was initially a loss. It's an extraordinary moment, one source told us. We're talking about a game-changing correction that could impact playoff standings, draft implications, and the entire season narrative. Unsurprisingly, rival teams have erupted in protest. Coaches, general managers, and fans from several franchises have flooded social media and official channels, arguing that revisiting past games sets a dangerous precedent. You can't just rewrite history after the fact, one rival GM reportedly said. Meanwhile, Eagles supporters are cautiously celebrating, aware that the league's ruling may be the start of a new chapter in NFL governance. The timing couldn't be more explosive. With playoff contention heating up, this decision doesn't just alter one team's trajectory. It could reshape the entire postseason picture. Analysts are now speculating about potential appeals, further league statements, and even possible rule changes to prevent such controversies in the future. The NFL, long criticized for inconsistencies in officiating, appears to be sending a message: errors of this magnitude will no longer be ignored. As the league braces for fallout, one thing is clear: the Eagles are at the center of a historic storm, and the football world is watching every move. Whether this sparks more debates, more protests, or even more corrections down the line. Fans can be sure that this story will dominate headlines for weeks to come. Rumor has it that league executives are already in emergency meetings, trying to navigate the unprecedented situation without further igniting controversy. That's a wrap from FlyEaglesFly News. If you want the fastest Eagles updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Sound off in the comments. Let's talk birds.